Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today our topic is plane waves. So what is a plane wave? A plane wave is a class of waves where along a certain plane perpendicular to the direction of propagation the physical quantity is a constant. So let's say the wave is propagating in this direction and we have drawn a bunch of parallel planes which are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. And if we remember from EM theory that those are also EM waves. So along a particular plane the direction of electric field and its magnitude is constant. So these are known as plane waves and have the form e to the power ikx. So let's say we write psi x as 1 by root over 2 pi h cut minus infinity to infinity psi bar p e to the power I px by h cut dp. So we can write any function as a Fourier transform or the reverse Fourier transform of another function. We are just doing that. So from here we can see that psi x is the reverse Fourier transform of the function psi bar p. Similarly, psi bar p is a Fourier transform of the function psi x. We know that the Fourier transform is given by, let's say, f of k equals to 1 by root over 2 pi minus infinity to infinity f x to the power minus I k x dx. Here we can assume that in the first case p by h cut is k and in the second case x by h cut is k. Let's consider a function vpx which is given by 1 by root over 2 by h cut e to the power I px by h cut. But note that vpx is not normalizable, so it doesn't belong to a function space. These kind of waves are known as plane waves and we know that these have a definite momentum which is p, and from Heisenberg uncertainty principle we know that we can't measure the position and the velocity of a particle to an arbitrary extent of precision. But here we can see that these waves has a particular momentum, hence a particular velocity. So their position is undefined throughout the space. So psi x is given by integration minus infinity to infinity psi bar p vpx dp. We just have written 1 by root over 2 by h cut into e to the power I px by h cut as vp in that equation and we get this. So the continuous set vpx is a continuous basis where p is a continuous index ranging from minus infinity to infinity. As any function can be written as a linear combination of vpx, so this forms a basis. From previous video we know that the coefficient of expansions are given by scalar product like ci equals to scalar product of ui with psi. Those are for discrete basis. Similarly, here we have the coefficient of expansion as psi bar p and which can be given by the scalar product of Vp with psi. So the scalar product of Vp with psi is Vp star psi dx, and we know that Vp star is the complex conjugate of Vp, so that is 1 by root over 2 by h cut into e to the power minus I px by h cut. So if we put that in that equation we get this equation. and this is the Fourier transform of the function psi x. So we can say that psi bar p is analogous to Ci. In case of discrete basis, we have the scalar product of psi with psi is summation over I mod Ci square. Similarly, in this case we have continuous basis, so we have to change the summation to integration. So we have the scalar product integration of minus infinity to infinity psi bar p mod square dp. In case of discrete basis, we have our closure relation as summation over I ui r ui star r prime equals to delta r minus r prime. But here, as it's a continuous basis, we have to use integration and we have integration minus infinity to infinity vp star x prime dp. So we know that vp is 1 by root over 2 pi h car e to the power I px by h car. So if we put those in this equation, we get 1 by 2 pi h cut integration minus infinity to infinity e to the power I px by h cut into e to the power minus I px prime by h cut dp. And we know that the Dirac delta function delta x is given by 1 by 2 pi integration minus infinity to infinity e to the power I kx dk. So comparing that equation with our equation, we can write this as delta x minus x prime. So the continuous basis is satisfying the closure relation. Now let's look at the orthonormalization relation. In case of discrete basis, we had the scalar product of ui with uj as delta ij, which is the Kronecker delta function. Similarly, let's compute the scalar product of Vp with Vp prime. So that is given by integration of minus infinity to infinity Vp star Vp prime dx, and after putting the values of Vp star and Vp prime, we get this equation. And similarly, comparing this equation with the expression for Dirac delta function, we can write this equation as delta p prime minus p. So in case of continuous basis, the Kronecker delta is changed to Dirac delta function. So what are the key difference between discrete and continuous basis? Instead of Kronecker delta, we have a Dirac delta. In Kronecker delta, if I equals to j, we know that the Kronecker delta is 1, but in case of Dirac delta, if p is equals to p prime, the function diverges, it's infinity. And another difference is that Vpx doesn't belong to the wave function space f, but in case of discrete basis, those functions ui's belong to wave function space. And here we have to change the discrete index I to a continuous index p, which can vary from minus infinity to plus infinity, and we have to change the summation over I into an integration over dp, or in case of 3D d3p. So in case of 3D, we have our basis as Vpr equals to 1 by 2 by h cut to the power 3 by 2 into e to the power I p dot r by h cut. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please subscribe and share. See you in the next lecture.